What's up, guys? Steve with the MMA Minute here. We're getting an early look at UFC Vegas 80. This is a 2-week break. We don't have a fight card coming up this weekend, so we do have to wait. But I want to take a look at some of the early line movement tracking that we're seeing here, as well as some of the betting splits for the entire card. So we will be very prepared to get on the right side of those trends because they are moving quickly. So let's get right into it, guys. First fight here, Grant Dawson taking on Bobby Green. That is your main event. We have Grant Dawson minus 300. That's his opening line. Right now, he is minus 350. I think I've seen that go even further. Bobby Green plus 240, currently sitting at plus 275. If we take a quick look at the betting splits here, 84% of the public is backing Grant Dawson. 90% of the handle is on Grant Dawson. Everybody is going to be betting Grant Dawson, throwing him in a bunch of parlays. I'm sure of it. So that's going to leave a great opportunity to get Bobby Green, who stylistically I actually think can do pretty well against a guy like Grant Dawson. So probably where my money is going to be. We'll continue to see where that goes, but it looks like it's just going to continue to climb on Grant Dawson. So co-main here, we have Pyfer taking on Alhassan. Pyfer opened minus 350. He's come down to minus 300. Alhassan opened plus 285. He's down to plus 250. So a little bit of line movement here coming back on the Alhassan side, the underdog. If we look at the betting splits, though, that is a completely different tale. We are seeing 96% of the public backing Joe Pyfer, 95% of the handle. So it definitely makes sense that Joe Pyfer is the massive favorite. Actually, this is betting splits powered by DraftKings. They have Pyfer minus 380 right now. They have plus 300 on Alhassan. So there's been a little bit of up and down movement, but right now we're actually seeing Joe Pyfer getting a ton of the money. So right off the bat, you're getting the main event and the co-main, just two massive favorites that the public absolutely loves. So maybe a couple fade spots to be had, but we'll see. Next up, we have Morono taking on Buckley. Alex Morono minus 150 opening line, currently sitting as the plus 150 underdog. Joaquin Buckley actually opened as the underdog at plus 130. He's now sitting minus 175. So that is absolutely one of the biggest line movements that we've seen so far, is that Joaquin Buckley side. People are absolutely hammering him. And you're seeing it even there on the betting splits. Joaquin Buckley, they have him at minus 192, Morono at plus 160, but it's actually a little bit deceiving here, a little bit sketchy. You're seeing Joaquin Buckley get a lot of the public money, but when you're actually looking at the handle, where the percentage of the money in total is going, it's actually on the Alex Morono side. So people are sneakily going in on the underdog, and you're seeing the public continue to just throw money on the Buckley side. So that'll be interesting to see where that ends up. But that usually is a little bit of a sign that we might want to take a look at the underdog. It's an interesting matchup. Buckley obviously hits a ton with a ton of power, I should say. And then Alex Morono, really good striker, underrated grappler, but he has been chinned before. So that's probably what people are banking on. But that's definitely one we want to keep an eye on. But it looks like it's getting some attention as far as an underdog status goes. We have Dober taking on Glenn. I have Dober opening minus 278. Rookie Glenn plus 200 on the betting splits. We're seeing now minus 440 for Drew Dober. Rick Glenn, you're seeing at plus 340. So this is another one of those just completely one-sided bets here. You're seeing 94% of the public going in on Drew Dober and 97% of the handle going in on Drew Dober. So that's, in my opinion, that's probably one of the clear smash spots. Drew Dober is not going to lose this fight, and he very likely will knock out Rick Glenn. So that one's pretty cut and dry. We'll continue to see if that one climbs. I'm sure it's going to, but if you can get the good thing about this is if you can get in now, you can still parlay some of these guys. We maybe missed the train on a couple of them, but if you're looking at Pyfer, if you're looking at Drew Dober, I mean, those are spots that I definitely love. The rest of it we'll kind of get into and see if it gets a little sketchier. But we have Linz taking on Cutelaba. Linz opened minus 200. Cutelaba opened plus 170. And this is another one that completely flip-flopped. Cutelaba is already to a minus 108 price tag. Philippe Linz minus 112. So basically getting a pick 'em there. But this is another one of those spots when we look at the betting splits, the public is backing Cutelaba. But when you actually look at the percent of the handle, the actual money, the total money going in, it is on the Philippe Linz side. So a little bit sketchy there. That's kind of a weird fight. Cutelaba, usually is a round one or bust type of guy. Felipe Linz kind of can be the same. probably going to stay away from that one. But it is interesting to see that, you know, we're seeing the line move for Cutelaba, but it's actually the percentage of money is on Felipe Lins. So we'll keep an eye on that one too. What do we got? Hernandez taking on Algeo. We have Hernandez -170 open, Algeo +145 open. Another big swing. Algeo now the favorite, -155. Alexander Hernandez is now the +130 underdog. And this is looking at the betting splits. You're seeing only 37% of the public backing Algeo, but he is getting all of the money. That means people are loading up on Bill Algeo. Algeo. I don't actually know the correct pronunciation, but Bill Algeo is one of these cash cows for me, at least. Very underrated. People do not assume this guy is great, but he really is very well-rounded, and they keep giving him matchups that I think he can win. We saw Billy Q against Alexander Hernandez. I think this is basically the same exact matchup, so I think Algeo just weathers that round one storm, and then he just takes over in 2 and 3. It's a classic script against Alexander Hernandez, and we're seeing a ton of money on Bill Algeo, so I'll be backing him. Absolutely. -155. That's going to be playable. Definitely could boost some parlays if you're trying to pair him with like a Joe Pyfer or a Drew Dober. So that's definitely interesting to see. That's another one that's going to get my attention at least. Kovalevich taking on Belbita. Kovalevich open -150. Belbita +130 as the underdog. Not too much movement here. Belbita now +145, Kovalevich -175, and we're seeing both the public and the handle going pretty heavy on Kovalevich, which seems pretty healthy here. That's slowly trending the line in the direction of the favorite, so that's at least some positive reinforcement there. You're seeing some of the public, but more of the money, and that line is continuing to go up on the favorite. So, you know, women's MMA really can't be trusted. We've seen that time and time again. So I don't know if that's going to get any of my money per se, but definitely want to keep an eye on it. If you like the Kovalevich side, it seems like that's where the line's going. So get in now while you can. Next up, Gutierrez taking on Jackson. Interesting fight here. +210 underdog for Gutierrez at open. Jackson opened as the -250 favorite. And right now we're seeing money coming in on Chris Gutierrez. Jackson down to -192. Gutierrez down to +160 as the underdog, and you're seeing it pretty clearly there, right in the betting splits. So the public is looking at Montel Jackson here, but it's actually the percent of the handle going in on Chris Gutierrez, probably driving that line a little bit closer. So it's interesting because Gutierrez was, you know, kind of in line to get a big win over Pedro Munoz and then kind of skyrocket him into the top 10. And then he loses that fight, takes a step down. Montel Jackson has been getting a ton of hype. So stylistically, I think it's actually a pretty interesting matchup, but Chris Gutierrez will definitely get a look from me, and that line's getting closer. So if you like the Gutierrez, the underdog side, now is the time to jump in. Next up, we have Aoriqileng taking on Munoz, -110 for both guys at open. And currently we are looking at money coming in on Aoriqileng. So he's now -148. Johnny Munoz can be had for +124. And the numbers are backing that up. We're getting 52% of the public backing Aoriqileng, but people are definitely loading up. 84% of the handle going in on Aoriqileng. So some people are seeing something here that they really like, and you're slowly starting to see that what opened as a pick'em is getting a lot more wide. So the Aoriqileng side, if you like it and you like following the betting splits here, if you like following those trends, now is the time to get in. That is a very playable price at -148. Next up, Demopoulos taking on Murata. We have Demopoulos +160 at open, Murata -220 at open. And they don't have this on the betting splits, unfortunately, so I won't be able to talk about that one. But from what I gathered, this fight might not even be happening. I might have some wrong information here because I did look for the lines yesterday, the current odds, and I didn't see it. So we'll just skip that one. We'll go right into Maness taking on Mendonca. That opened as a pick'em. This one completely exploded. Mendonca is already -258. That's probably the biggest swing we've seen. Nate Maness now +210 is the underdog. But we're getting some mixed numbers here when we look at the betting splits. 85% of the public, a lot of the public likes Mendonca, and only 64% of the handle is matching that. So usually you want to see the bets in the handle at least pretty close. If anything, you want the handle to be greater than the percent of bets. So this one's a little bit sketchy. The wider this goes, I mean, Mendonca is not UFC battle tested yet. So Nate Maness at plus 210, that's going to be a popular underdog. So we'll see if this continues to climb for Mendonca. Public really likes it, but this could be a clear fade spot. So this is why we like to look at these betting splits. It's always tells a much different story behind the scenes, right? And then we have De La Rosa taking on Stephanie Egger, minus 110 both ways. Pick them at open. And another one that completely exploded. So Stephanie Egger now a plus 170 underdog. Montana De La Rosa now the minus 205 favorite. And again, kind of sketchy numbers here. 69% of the bets. So the public likes De La Rosa here. But we're not really seeing that in the handle. So a little bit of a sketchy one for me. I think this one should be a lot closer. I think the pick'em actually made a lot of sense. I've been not impressed by Montana De La Rosa. Stephanie Egger definitely, well, she just dropped the ball in her last fight, but she is pretty tough and she's got a pretty good ground game. So I think this one's going to be a lot closer. So I actually do favor the underdog in that spot, especially looking at the betting splits here. So that's for what we have right now. That is 12 fights up and down for UFC Vegas 80. We'll see if that actually holds throughout the next 2 weeks here. Hopefully it does. Looks like a decent card. So thanks for stopping in, guys. If you want to check out some of the premium content, you'll get access to the full card predictions with confidence levels, a full betting guide. You'll be able to see the line tracker here. You'll be able to see the betting splits. You'll get my official plays and a whole lot more. So make sure to check out the Patreon. Link is in the description, and we will see you guys next time.